Balance. Introduction to balance and imbalance. In biological systems, like our bodies, why is balance needed? Why is balance important? When it gets very hot, how can our body cool us down? Our body starts to sweat. When it gets very cold, how can our body warm us up? Our body starts to shiver. What do we have to do to get our body to sweat or shiver? Is it thinking happy thoughts, doing nothing, or maybe walking backwards? Well, nothing. But how does our body know what to do? This is introduction to homeostasis. Have you heard of that term? It is the term we use to describe the state of balance in the body. Can you think of an example of homeostasis in the body? Well, body temperature is a common one. So even if it's very hot outside or very cold, your body maintains a constant internal temperature. And what do you have to do to maintain this temperature? Nothing. Your body manages it automatically. Sometimes when it's very cold outside, your body shivers to warm up. And when it's very hot, you start to sweat to cool down. In both cases, you don't intentionally turn on shivering or sweating, it just happens. Homeostasis is part of a complex system called our autonomic nervous system, ANS. And the picture here illustrates it with system 1 and system 2. So it is important to know that this automatic system, ANS, is the same system that manages our stress response. That means that there is a state in which we are stressed with increased activity, the system 1, and an opposite state in which we are relaxed, the system 2, with decreased activity. And our automatic systems manage these states. And it is the balance between system 1 and system 2 that is called homeostasis. In other words, balance. But how are these stressed and relaxed states managed? Well, the ANS has two subsystems, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic one is the one that is activated when we are stressed, when we need to mobilize energy and face a threat. And the parasympathetic one, it helps us recover and conserve energy. So here, the system 1 is mobilizing energy, and the system 2 is conserving energy. And there's the balance between the two subsystems. The image here shows that they are complex systems involving lots of different parts in our body, both system 1 and system 2. System 1 mobilizes energy and system 2 conserves energy. But what has this to do with stress? And why do we have these states? The stress here is the example of a bear attack. System 1 is used to mobilize energy, just like running away from a bear. And system 2 is to conserve energy after the attack to recover, for recovering from the stress. So here we need also recharging. This is what system 2 is built for. And homeostasis is the balance between the two systems. Both are needed. System 1 is called fight or flight mode. There we need energy to be mobilized. And system 2 is the rest and digest mode. There we need to recharge. The system is actually built for physical threats, like a bear attacking us. That's why it mobilizes our energy, as we need the energy to take action, to physically move. But how often do you face physical threats? When was the last physical threat you faced? Hopefully not recently. Actually, in modern life, physical threats are not nearly as common as mental threats. Those of survival for physical threats and the automatic system is not as often as survival concerning mental threats like worries, uncertainties, lack of control. But the same automatic system goes on here. So we go to fight or flight mode, and the automatic nervous system mobilizes our energy. And then we need also system 1, system 2, the rest and digest. But what happens in the chronic stress, in the state of imbalance? What happens if we are constantly stressed? This is referred to as chronic stress. With chronic stress, we feel constantly stressed. We have too much stress, so our stress response is activated too often and for too long. With chronic stress, our body can become imbalanced, and this can lead to our default state becoming one of imbalance rather than balance. We don't return to a natural homeostatic state and maintain a stress state. If our body is out of balance for too long, it starts to break down and we get sick. In other words, the stress system does not turn off. It constantly runs, and the complex systems in our body start to break down, as the stress responses were not built to be constantly turned on. And there's the imbalance, referring to chronic stress. And what can we do to restore balance? As we have talked about, self-regulation involves practice and awareness. Knowing about the stress response system and knowing how to actively manage it, these are the tools that you can use.